5 p.m., April 21st, 2026.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Kenny, you got those? Okay. Call for a vote.
First and second.
Call for a vote from the public?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. All right, we will go on to new business. We got a couple people that wanted to speak. We'll go in order. What's been turned into me? Nate Grabowski, please come on up.
Break dice.
Yeah.
No, she's running to get the mic, I think, but,
You have to go in there to talk.
I think you'll be good.
In the little room.
Keep order, you've got 3 minutes, all right?
Just in case it's in trouble from here already.
Thank you. Nate Grabowski, 4813 Riverside Road, Town of Waterford. First thing I just want to talk about real quick was a big thank you to whoever was in charge of the drawdown or the slow mill wake that we've got going on. It is, by the weekend, it was already worse than it was last August when we had it. And last August, I understand some people are getting upset from selfish reasons. Where they want a boat, it's hot out, it's nice out, it's summertime, whatever else. It's April, for one. For two, this was way worse than it was back in August. I'm looking at water levels still coming up. I haven't seen them crest yet. Every day I'm checking and monitoring, and it's going up 2-3 inches every day. Hopefully it crests soon. Hasn't yet. Some pumps are still going, some, and they're still pouring in there. But I'm seeing piers flying down. We had a boat, going over the dam and everything else. But whether or not you're hearing anything from social media or anything else that's complaining about it, I'm just saying thank you as an owner on the river. I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing the problems, and the people that are most likely complaining about it, those are the ones that should be concerned for their own safety, because if you're out there wakeboarding or skiing or anything like that, you're running into piers and all kinds of things out there. So thank you first of all for that. Like I said, hopefully that crests. The only other thing I want to say, I don't know if we're going to get into or anything was planned today for anything regarding the police force, but just a quick note. Once again, I've talked about this in the past. I can't tell you how thankful I am that we still have the local Waterford PD and how personal they are as opposed to bringing in Racine County. We had incidents over the weekend where that boat that I was talking about that was stuck on the dam had our own officer that we know not been out there, that would have gotten maybe a little out of hand, because some of us are old school and we just look at a situation and go, we're gonna get this boat out of the water. So before help arrived, we already had a pontoon boat out there. We were gonna tie a kayak up to it, go strap up the other pontoon and let her rip and see what happens. Now, we were willing to do that. However, Officer Polka was out there, and in so many words, it was either you are gonna die or you're gonna get arrested. She said, wait for, we've already got a plan in place and the professionals are coming and this, that, and that. But had that been somebody from the county that we didn't know, it wouldn't have been as lighthearted, and if they would have left for a little bit, well, we're kind of old school, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. But like I said, it was handled perfectly and everything got taken care of safely, and that's part of the local side that a lot of people don't talk about. And I just want to say that that's just one small story. I got a million of them, but thanks again for working hard to keep our local PD here. I think that's very important to a lot of us. So.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to call up John Palmer.
Chairman, members of the board, John Palmer, 4935 Winter Park Road. This about a week and a half ago, we had a little fundraiser at Oak Wine and Spirits. I'm actually the owner of Oak Wine and Spirits. Many of you didn't know that, I think you all do. We did a little benefit. We wanted to raise some money for our police department because they want to get a canine dog. So what I did is put some raffles together. We did some meat raffles, all kinds of raffles. Chief actually got to stop by for a little while, and maybe Chief, you wanna come up here, I got a little something for you. What we did is, on that day, we raised $2,100 for the K-9 program. Thank you very much. And I kind of want to go on to what Nate had said there, you know, get to interact with these police officers that are on our police department. It's very special in a small town like this to have community policing. They know us by our first name. I happen to be along with Nate and helping plan a kayak out to the stuck boat. And like he said, Polka was there to, come on boys, you know, you can probably do it, but we're not gonna let you. We're gonna let the professionals do it, and thank God she was there and stopped us. But thank you for this board for fighting hard and working with the village. I don't know how that stands right now, but you know, we need to keep our local police department, and thank you for all the hard work you guys have done over the years, and thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tanya Manning.
Tanya Maney, 6911 Big Bend Road. As a citizen who's been deeply involved in our community and in the civic and political life of our community for the better part of the last decade, I wanted to take this opportunity to address you with a heart full of hopeful anticipation for what lies ahead, not only for the town of Waterford, but for our community as a whole. Over many years, I've watched this town experience both successes and setbacks. There were times when important issues were pushed aside, hidden from public view, or simply delayed and passed on for another day. That pattern can be discouraging for any community. However, I believe the current board has brought a different spirit and a new dynamic to local government. With the addition of new members and fresh perspectives, I have seen encouraging signs over the past year that past mistakes are no longer being ignored, but instead are being acknowledged, reviewed, challenged, and addressed. That matters. It shows leadership, courage, and a willingness to do the difficult work necessary to move our town forward in a positive and responsible direction. I'm especially pleased to see serious attention being given to assessments and to creating a fairer, more equalized tax burden among all residents. These are not easy issues, but they are important ones. When leaders are willing to take on difficult topics rather than avoid them, it builds trust with the people they serve. One of the most significant accomplishments has been the rebuilding and strengthening of the Waterford Police Department. It is clear that our department is here to stay and moving in the right direction. While there is always more work to be done, the progress is undeniable. I would also like to recognize Chief Tim O'Neill for the capable, thorough, and professional leadership he has brought to the department. I have consistently heard positive remarks about his leadership and vision. When people speak of Chief O'Neill, they do so with optimism and respect. His vision for the department and for community partnership is exactly the kind of leadership we have needed. I thank this board as well for standing behind him and supporting the direction he is leading. I also believe the establishment of committees has been an excellent move by town leadership. The responsibilities of governing a community are far too broad and complex for 5 board members alone to carry effectively. Committees create opportunities for more citizens to become involved, and community involvement is essential to healthy government. Just as importantly, committees create accountability, encourage transparency, and bring in a wide range of perspectives and ideas. Not every person will agree on every issue, and that is okay. Differences of opinion are not weaknesses. They are often the foundation of stronger decisions. By allowing ideas to be examined from multiple angles, we give ourselves the best chance to find thoughtful and practical solutions for the future of our town. To each town board member, I would also encourage you to lead in humility, esteeming one another higher than yourselves, and to keep your eyes fixed on what is best for the community as a whole. None of us are perfect. None of us always have the right answer. True leadership requires the humility to acknowledge that another person's idea may be better than our own, or that a different path may at times be the wiser one. There are moments in public service when each person must pause and ask, what is motivating this decision? If the answer is pride, ego, or personal preference, then correction is needed. If the answer is service, stewardship, and what benefits the community most, then we are on the right path. I believe there should be a spirit of servanthood in government, a sincere desire to do what is best for all people, not just for oneself. There should also be a spirit of unity and cooperation. Strong leadership does not require uniformity of opinion, but it does require shared purpose and mutual respect. My hope and prayer for this board is that each one of you would serve with the same heart and mindset as King Solomon, who, when given the opportunity to ask for anything, asked for wisdom and discernment to lead the people well. May that same desire for wisdom guide every decision made on behalf of this town. In closing, I would respectfully ask the board to consider 3 requests. First of all, to adjust the regular town board meeting schedule. Currently, town and village meetings occur on the same Monday and at the same time, and it creates unnecessary conflict for residents who wish to attend both. As collaboration between the town and village grows, it would be wise to allow citizens the opportunity to participate in both governments. I respectfully ask that the board consider moving town board meetings to another Monday of the month and changing the starting time to 6 p.m. A 5:30 start time is difficult for many working residents. Number 2, move the annual town meeting to a later evening hour. 5 o'clock is just very difficult for a lot of people to get here, and 6:30 or 7 p.m. Start time would be, I think, more beneficial. And 3, open each town board meeting in prayer. I respectfully request that each meeting begin with prayer, asking for wisdom, unity, humility, and guidance as important decisions are made for our community. Waterford has tremendous potential, and I truly believe our best days are still ahead if we continue forward with honesty, humility, and a shared commitment to the greater good. Thank you for your service, your time, and your willingness to lead.
Well, I have a couple things to report. One is, everybody got the letter I sent out back in February, what we did accomplish. A lot of things under work right now. Everybody got the financials that were put out there, stuff like that. I made a couple adjustments to mine to dig really deep into it. And just some highlights to you. The reflection income was off by $55,000, $134. There was a budget area from the previous year that was not caught. That was $23,000. Technically, we're only $32,000 short in income, but if you look up a little bit under court penalties and then interest on investments, that's about $100,000. So we would have been okay on income if, we had tickets and citations and stuff like that. Moving on to page 2, obviously going down, it's $59,400. Our insurance went up a lot, 25%. We had multiple claims that were in previous years, and we felt the burden of it a little bit last year with property and liability insurance. So that went up 25%. Police and water, it was a rebuilding year for the police department. They were actually under budget by $317,000. So that year going like we won't, because we are staffing up again and we're veering towards a better direction. Final, the DPW road maintenance. I'm going to work with the committees and this board to come up with a better plan for future projects and major roadway things, because we have a schedule. It is not solved yet, but I'm working on it. So, and this board can help me work on it. I haven't decided the final course of action. I really wanted it done before Dale left, but that didn't happen. I want the road done, so it's nearing to be done. It's 95% done. They said within about a week it should be done, and then I'll call something to get this in order. But if you take that $2,035,000 off of our total out of that line, we're actually better than budget, from my calculations, by $656,000 on our budget to our expenses. So we did better than the previous year where we were a shortfall by $300,000. Is it perfect yet? No, but we are moving forward and getting in a better position once we get these grants and stuff. Which leads me to the next thing. We have been awarded 2 more big projects from the state. I just want to mention to the people here that to lift things, we got another major road they're willing to pay 90% of the project, awarding us up to $1,863,657 for Lowland Drive. Jim is already aware of that, and we have a meeting tomorrow to discuss this so we don't have these issues going forward like we did when. We also got another one, basically was it's paying back 70% of the project, and this is for Loomis Road, that they'll give us a grant up to $176,397. So that's almost over $2 million some dollars in grants for some of our major roads, which will help our roads moving forward. But I'll work with the committees and the board to figure out, because just hindsight, I'm gonna move it below the line, and that way it doesn't affect our budget in the year like it really affected this one. So, the final thing that I'm gonna give to the board members here is the police committee finished their job, and the police commission. I'm gonna hand these to all the board members here. Chief, I have one for you. I think you got an email. I had one for Supervisor Ulander that's not here. This has been submitted to Adam. I will be formulating next steps with Adam on how we have to proceed forward to get a commission set up. We may have an extra step or 2 to do in the village because we're different governing bodies, but Tony is working with me on that to get that solved, so we have no hurdles there. Other than that, the assessment was already mentioned, we're working on that. We're also working on revisiting the boundary agreement, that'll be in play. I think that's everything that I have. Am I missing it? Oh, the loan budget, let's report that. We're down to $733,929.98, and the rate's still the same, 5.6. So, but we're gonna get that paid off sooner. Then we may have to rebar off these roads, and then have that, we gotta figure out as a board and committees to do the rest of the work. Any questions for me?
Just one question I have, that is, where are we in the process around the town reassessment?
That is, the operations committee is interviewing the companies right now. I believe they got one done, they have another one set up, and then it'll come to the boards. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll have that ready by the board meeting May 9th, yes.
When would you anticipate the actual work being done?
Oh, the start date's gonna be July 1st, I believe. The start date will be July 1st. And then it'll take a while to do, we have to digitalize all of our records, it's not gonna happen overnight, so. Yeah, Chris is,
Amen.
All right, just to give everybody a little update. Last week, we worked to vet one of the candidates or one of the firms that submitted a proposal. On Thursday evening, we are gonna vet the second one. We're hopeful on Thursday, our committee, following that vetting process, to come to a decision of what firm we're gonna put forward to the board. Then the board will take over, Tony will have to look at the contract and get that process started. We're hoping to get them secured in June. Obviously, there's a handoff process to get things going. It's our hope that at the tail end of this year, they will actually could get started with doing some of the reevaluations. This is gonna take a little time. Obviously, all of our records are paper, so that all has to be manually entered into a computer system, which would get us into the, more up-to-date situation where we are today. Once that's done, we will also, in this process, have some community meetings, education sessions that we're hopeful that residents can come to. That's our hope as a committee, so that none of this is a blind sight for anybody, so they understand what that process is gonna look like for them and for the town. So, if you have any questions,
let me know.
if you have any questions, I'm here for you. We're gonna be as transparent as possible. I want this committee, and I believe the board, I'm gonna speak for them right now. We want to have listening sessions for the citizens of this town. It's been too long, and they need to understand where we are and where we're going. And that's paramount for me. We can't have what we've got going on now.
Thank you.
Chris, can I just add just a couple of things, context, piggybacking on what you said? Just in case folks don't know, when the RFP was issued, we issued it to 8 different firms. We got 3 responses back. In evaluating those responses, we eliminated one. Compared to the others, it wasn't a very professional response. It was pretty bare bones, so we decided not to move forward in further conversations with that firm. We selected 2 firms to move forward with. As Chris mentioned, we interviewed one. We have a second one coming up. We'll be making reference calls to other municipalities that those firms are serving, so we get other reference information to inform our decision. The goal is to have the new firm starting with us in the June timeframe. The second half of this year, as Chris mentioned, there's a significant data conversion effort to move from a paper-based system to a digital system. And that's a big part of the questions that we're asking the 2 firms that we're talking to in terms of how that's gonna work, what is it gonna take, and all that. So the process is actively underway, and as the chair mentioned, our goal is to have, as a committee, have a recommendation to the board by May, and then the legalities and the contract work starts after that.
Chris has said. Transparency is important to all of us, very, very much so. And I want to thank the residents that showed up at my committee meeting over the voting ordinances. Without their input, things wouldn't have turned out the way they turned out. But listening to the residents and their concerns, the committee listened before we took any votes or talked about it ourselves. We allowed any resident that wanted to speak, and they gave us great input. I encourage the board and the other committees, open up your meetings. Chris, you brought it up. We gotta listen to our residents, especially at the committee level. It does us no good to try to make rules or make an ordinance or develop something without knowing what the residents truly want. And I said right from the start, my committee is gonna be open to anybody, and I will listen to anybody. So I encourage the board to start looking a little further on opening up the meetings. Thank you.
All right, looking for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
For a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's over. Thank you. 5:21. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Driving off.